Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, staff, or management. The following program is sponsored by Rob Warner at Guild Mortgage, NMLS number 825102. Welcome to the Happy Hour with Rob Warner, an hour of stimulating conversation adding value to your financial future. Rob brings helpful insights into many aspects of the mortgage and real estate industry. Now, here's your host, Rob Warner.
Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Happy Hour with Rob Warner. I am Rob Warner with Guild Mortgage. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and a happy Monday. Today I have two great guests with me, Jason Lichney and Scott Cooper, founders and creators of UMZI. So it's going to be a great show today. Stay with us. Hey, Jason, how's it going today?
Wonderful. Amazing.
Always
Scott, living the dream, Rob.
Living the dream. I don't know. That's my least favorite expression, by the way, but that's all right.
That's why I'm always living the dream.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves.
I've been in the real estate industry for quite a while. I don't know, almost 10 years now. And prior to that was in technology to some extent with Bank of America, doing some data analytics, an engineering background back in college. And so, right now it's sort of taking all of those lessons learned from all the different positions I've had and trying to create something and change an archaic industry such as real estate in a way that's going to be better for buyers and agents in the future.
And Scott, you're part of this whole thing, huh?
I am part of this, yeah. In my background, I've been in real estate for about 20 years, and prior to that, background in finance, and just looking at obviously changing the way things are done in real estate, and so we're excited to be here.
Very cool. I'm glad you're here. So let's get on to the number one question: what is UMZI, and what's the name mean too? So
first of all, when I had a random epiphany at some point in time, and I was showing property for some folks in Elk Grove, and I live in Lincoln, Rockland area, and I thought, this is kind of crazy that it takes me all day to show a property in Elk Grove. Somebody wants to see a few homes, except by the time I drive down there and meet them at the house and show them a few houses and then come back home, it's like my whole weekend was gone or my whole Saturday was gone. And I said, this is a little bit ridiculous from that perspective, because I know there's an agent in Elk Grove that's probably showing property in my neighborhood at the same time. And I'm like, well, why don't I have that client and he has mine? Like, why can't we just swap? Which Scott said, that's another app that we could come up with, which would be like Client Swap or something to that effect. But we're not going there yet.
Yeah, we're not going now.
But swap a client. But so I just saw an inefficiency there, and then I also just thought, well, why? A lot of agents get paid a pretty good commission, and from a buyer's experience, how does it make sense that you can order food or something on Amazon.com and probably have it delivered to your house quicker than you could get an agent to show up to show you the house next door? And that both of those things just didn't make sense to me. So kind of came up with a platform to solve both of those issues via an app, and that's kind of how UMZI was created. And Scott was sort of the one that came up with the name, so I'll let him go on with where that came
Scott,
from.
Because we're getting questions on what this name means.
Yeah, so the name is basically it's a shortened version of a German word that literally means move home. So it seemed that people that are looking to use the app would look at moving their home, and so it was applicable. And then try to start a company, come up with a name that has a .com available, and see what you can come up with. There aren't many options. So just like the sound of it, it's a fun sounding name, and that's what we decided to go with.
How did you know the name? Are you from German descent? Where did it come from? How did you know?
It just kind of came to me in an epiphany also.
He did a lot. He did a lot of Google searching for random words. And the thing is, you talk about different businesses, things like Uber and House, which is a spinoff of Uber, correct? And they're more on the listing side, relative startup on the listing side. HAUS is how they spell it, and they're both German words, and it just seems that a lot of companies out there leverage German words. And so you kind of just look at different cultures that would have words that are relatively easy to say, that are short, that have a domain available, and you throw a shot in the
Well, I
dark.
like it. I think it's pretty cool. So,
At least you remember it, right?
yeah, well, I don't think I won't forget it. It's really one of those names that sticks. It really does. So how does it work?
So essentially, what happens is if you have the app, there's two pieces to it. There's a buyer side, and there's an agent side. And Rob, I know we had you download our demo version. So why don't you pull your phone out?
Oh, we're
there?
going to do that right now?
Let's do it.
Well, let's do it.
All right, we're going to do this on the air, so we'll try to, and this will be on video, everybody, so you'll be able to see this. As you well know, these go on my YouTube, Rob Warner, the
So
Happy
Rob,
Hour with Rob Warner.
Rob, when you open up the UMSI app.
Okay,
and-
where is the MZ Act? Let me find the blaming thing now. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it.
So you open it up, and I can't see your screen right now, so I'm just going to go by memory, but I've seen all the screens about a million
Schedule
times.
showing or instant access?
Instant
Yes,
access.
you're going to go for an instant access. And Scott and I are both logged in as agents.
Okay, so I'm instant access. Okay.
And we're in the Arden area right now, so let's do like 1560 response road.
1560 response, 1560 response road.
It should pop down. So there's a.
There it
drop
is.
down there.
Got it.
Okay, then
Got
you just hit the button to see home.
See home now.
That's it.
It's
That's all you
loading.
need to
It's
do.
loading. Now, here we go. Let's see.
And Rob, if you look real quick on my screen, so I'm logged in as an agent. You see that I got a request.
Oh, you got one for me already. Boy,
Okay.
that didn't take long.
And Scott,
I've got
did you
one
get one?
also.
You both
Good.
have one.
Okay, so Scott's going to go ahead and
Still
accept
loading. Does it take a little while?
because it's waiting for him to respond.
Yeah.
Oh.
Once I respond, now look, take a look. No longer loading. So I'm going to type
No, it's still
Hi.
loading on my phone. I don't know if it's my phone.
Rob.
My phone, of course, has a very short time period before it. It's still showing loading, by the way.
So take a
Let's
look
see.
now.
Okay. Hi, Rob. I would love to help.
There you go. So at this point now, it's connected you, a potential buyer, with a realtor that's within 5 miles of the property, who's available to show you the property right now. And
Within
so,
5 miles. Okay.
Correct, yeah. And because the idea is that we want, from an efficiency standpoint and a convenience standpoint, we want a buyer and agent who are able to, work together. And so having a realtor that's 20 miles away doesn't seem very helpful. And so we wanted to, make it more local. From a realtor standpoint, it creates a much, much more efficient business model because now you're showing properties that are within 5 miles of you, not in Elk Grove if you're in Roseville, et cetera.
Oh, as a lender, I hear this all the time. Complaining about how long they have to drive out to show property, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. And you can see on your app right there in the top portion, if you pull it up. So,
Okay.
So you can see there on the top portion, you can see who your agent is.
Oh, I already have an agent assigned.
That it paired you up with, and how far away they are from the property right now.
0.00 miles.
Because Response Road is like right behind us.
Yeah.
Right, and it's going off of the GPS that's on Scott's phone because he's the one that responded to you. So you know that he's real close to the property, and you're conversing with him directly. And conversely, when Scott pulls up your chat.
To the picture, there you go.
When Scott pulls up your chat, he can see how far you are from the property. So you can say, oh, Rob's sitting right outside. He's
So you
25
could, in
miles
essence,
away.
say, Rob, I can show you that property right now,
Right now.
right?
Yeah, I'm out the door. I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The
Right.
only limiting factor to that is going to be.
Oh, wait, we're coming to a break.
Okay.
I can't believe we're burning time so fast. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Happy Hour. I'm Rob Warner with Guild Mortgage. That was the lovely Bailey Pelkman singing that version of a Frank Sinatra song. I've mentioned her name before. I think it's kind of cute. Anyway, we have Jason Lichney and Scott Cooper, founders and creators of UMSI, with us today in the studio, and we are talking about this really cool app that lines up a client and basically a buyer and a realtor like within minutes,
real time.
real time. So
Real estate in real time.
So yeah, what we were talking about before is just kind of how quickly you can be paired and what you can see with the app. And now, when it does get launched, it'll be in beta. There'll probably be a few bugs here and there, and we're working through them now. But the main goal is that if you're usually what happens when a buyer looks to purchase a home is that they go out there and they get the listing information or the information about the home from like a Realtor.com or Zillow, or maybe they get an agent email, or maybe their lender sends them a home, or whatever it is,
Open
right?
house.
Or they see an open house, whatever it is. So they get a notification in their inbox, and then what we've seen just being in industry is normally people like drive by, like, do I like the neighborhood? Like, let me check this out before I get somebody involved, right, to show me the house. And so what we're trying to do is when you drive by and you're like, hey, I kind of like this house, that you can just pull up the app and say, show me this house right now while you're there.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And not wait, because why should you wait? I mean, come on, we can.
You already took the time and you're there. You'd probably want to see it right there and then, right?
Why not? It's convenient for me during my lunch break at work. I'm going to go see it now. And, that way if you have the flexibility of seeing it whenever, you don't have to wait around multiple people's schedules. And does a real estate agent have a soccer game to go to on a Saturday at 2 o'clock and can't show you that house when it's convenient to you? If it's convenient to you, you go.
And the buyers are not going to be bombarded by a bunch of other agents, right? I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
No, so from a buyer standpoint, and you can look at the agent side. So Scott responded to your inquiry as an agent. The only information he's going to have about you is your first name and how far away you are right now from the property.
He doesn't have any other information.
That's it.
So the cool part is, from a buyer perspective, it gives you the freedom to message with the realtor. And if you don't want the realtor to follow up with you because it just isn't a right fit, then you don't have to worry about them calling you, emailing you, bugging you. And so it's cool from a buyer perspective.
That's brilliant, because I know a lot of buyers are looking for properties online, right? And they're getting constantly barraged with calls, emails, and texts from all these different agents that are buying these leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I liken it to, like, if you go shopping for a car, a lot of people are apprehensive when they go onto that car lot. So like, oh man, there's this sales guy is going to come up to me and he's going to bother me, and I just want to check out the new whatever model.
Camaro.
Yeah, whatever it is, the new Camaro. I just want to see it, right? And I don't want to get bothered. And then maybe when they see it, they go, I really like the new Camaro. Now I want to get bothered, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't ready to get bothered initially, because they weren't really that interested.
They're in look mode, not buy mode.
And so the tool is to be able to allow a buyer to be in look mode, and also to essentially interview different buyer's agents, because you may meet multiples. You may meet one and you're like, I really like this guy, or I really
and you're
like
going to
this
meet
girl.
them because you may select another property that's
That may
outside
play-
of the radius of the one that you
or
were
the
looking
other
at.
person just quicker to respond.
Oh, okay.
So even though you sent a request to Scott and I, if I were quicker at the trigger than he was, you would have gotten me.
All
right? Because we want to create an experience for a buyer where it feels like real-time communication. I want to see this house. Instantly, I get access to somebody that can answer questions or show me that property, no matter what time of day it is.
So let's say the person meets this agent, doesn't really like that particular agent. Is there a way to get another agent involved? I'm just curious.
In that particular property?
Yeah.
In that particular property, probably not.
Okay.
Because the agents are happy using the system because they know that if they show you this house and you like it, that they'll have the opportunity to represent you on that house. Now, if you didn't like that property, then you can either blacklist that, or if you didn't like that property and you didn't like that agent, you can blacklist that agent. You can choose to have another one.
Oh, okay.
That kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some flexibility.
Well, that's very cool. So when are you starting this whole UMSI thing?
Yeah, so we're in the last stages of debugging right now. We've got a few little things where links to share and things like that aren't working on every single one of the screens. The programmer just forgot to make them active, things like that. And it's going to be a few days before all those are worked out. But it's just a few days away from being a completed app, and then we'll be publishing on the App Store for Apple as well as the Google Play store for Android, and people will be able to download it. But the fact of the matter is that will it work nationwide day one? Kinda. But you need realtors online to be able to service buyers to actually have the user experience that you'd want. So we're focusing right now just in Roseville, and very, very hyper local. And we have about 40 realtors already signed up to be on the platform. So as soon as it launches, we'll have capacity to handle buyers as they come online. We'll be able to answer their questions, and then we'll kind of expand from there.
So you basically have to get your agents lined up. You have to have a pool of agents.
Correct. Yep. Need a service provider and a service demander.
Think if you had an Uber with no drivers, it wouldn't work out so well.
Well, yeah, that might be tricky. Huh?
It'd be very tricky to say, hey, download Uber and get a ride, and there's nobody to give you a ride.
So how much does this cost?
For buyers?
100%
Nothing.
free.
Free.
Always free.
How about realtors?
Is no upfront cost. There's no fixed monthly cost.
No showing
No
fees.
showing fees. They just sign up. If they do get a deal from the system, they pay a referral fee through their broker, because UMSI is a California real estate license broker as well. So they pay a referral fee, and that's it. So if they make some money, then we make a little bit, and if not, then
why
we don't make
not? I
anything.
mean, it's the same with any other lead program, right?
Right.
Realtor buys a lead until the deal closes.
Well, it's almost no different than me as a real estate agent or broker. If I have a friend in Washington or Seattle, and they're reloading from Seattle at Microsoft to Microsoft in the Bay Area, and they says, hey, I have a client, a referral for you, and you're going to pay me a referral percentage, and I'm like, cool, no problem.
Yeah, it's an
really no
industry
different.
standard.
No, I think it's great. There's no really it's a win-win for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah, because from a realtor standpoint, if it doesn't turn into a deal for you and there's no compensation, then you're not worried about paying that monthly bill. And so, it gives the realtor a lot more freedom to become part of the app without worrying about that fixed expense.
So what competitive advantage does UMSI give a buyer?
Well, Scott and I would talk a lot about this, and, you talk about different markets. Because right now our market is pretty hot, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about properties that are nice properties, that are clean
Priced
and
well.
updated and priced right and marketed well, they always go fast.
Speed always matters.
And so what UMSI allows a buyer to do is get into that house before any other buyer, potentially. And when that happens, you have an advantage to buy the house, because representing a buyer as a realtor and as a broker, I never want to have a situation where I have a client and they send me an address, and half a day goes by and the house goes pending, and I didn't have a chance to show them the house yet, and at least see if they wanted to make an offer, put their hat in the ring. Like, I always think it should be the buyer's decision whether or not they're going to purchase the home. Maybe the seller wants $350,000 and you're only willing to pay $340,000. Well, that was your choice not to buy that house. Somebody
Right.
else was willing to pay more, right? But at least you saw it. At least we put in an offer, and at least we made it your choice, right? And so this is one of those things where, from an access perspective,
Instant
It should
access.
work.
How do they find the property to begin with, though?
it would be through their standard methods that they do now.
Like Realtor.com or Zillow, they're
Correct.
going to identify that property, but then how they're going to have,
They just put the address in our app. That's
Yep.
it.
and that's it.
That's
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have MLS data in our app, mostly because the companies that do that do it pretty well. Your Zillows, your Realtor.coms, and quite honestly, they're like Zillow's worth how much? A couple billion?
Yeah, 8-10 billion.
Yeah,
Something like that.
so we don't have
That's
as
on.
much money as they do. So I don't think that we're going to be able to compete in the same game that they have. And
Plus, our idea is that the information's already out there. All the property information, really about the property, pictures, taxes, schools. There's a lot of information.
Oh, that's all on there too?
Well, no. It's not on
Oh.
our app.
Okay.
It's out there in the public forum.
Right.
Buyers
you can
already.
get it online, right?
Yeah, it's easily and readily available everywhere. What's not is getting in the property and seeing it in 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
that's the part we focus on.
Okay. I mean, I'm asking, I got all sorts of questions
Go
to
for
ask
it.
you, and we only
Yeah.
have, okay.
Keep firing.
Okay, I'm firing these at you.
Okay, rapid.
Okay, so how does it affect an agent that's like buying Zillow leads? My audience may not know what that means, but agents, for you folks out there that don't know, a lot of agents buy leads, and that's why when you're out there shopping for a property, you'll get a call, 2 minutes after you've viewed it online. It's because agents have paid some sort of money to view that.
Yeah, and Zillow leads are interesting. Scott, you want to take?
Yeah, let me take the Zillow part, because Zillow, as a company, they're really focusing on realtors that are spending $5,000 a month or more in advertising.
With Zillow.
With Zillow. So that means realtors who are spending $60,000 a year with Zillow. And so if you take a look at kind of the Zillow platform, they're directing the majority of the buyers and their focus on the top 1% or less of the realtors. And so what our platform does is it helps to kind of even the playing field, because we're providing a service that's going to help direct those buyers to local agents who are literally in the backyard of the property. Not literally in the backyard, but you get the idea. And they're ready and able to help them in real time. And so, that's what we see is the real benefit.
So it really behooves agents that are out there to join up with UMZI.
Correct.
Because that way they have a good chance when a property's coming up for sale within 5 miles of their home or wherever they are located, their office or wherever they're doing business, right? Or is it their
Correct.
home? Or it's wherever they're
wherever
they
their phone
are.
is, wherever they are,
wherever you're
physically
physically located.
Wow.
If you're on vacation in Malibu, and you might get a showing request in Malibu.
Okay, this is great.
later on.
Late. Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
And I mean, really, from a realtor perspective, what's the risk?
Yeah, there's no downside.
You're getting handed a lead. You want it or not?
Yeah, and as a realtor, you could be utilizing all the different resources. You could have a great database. You're doing Zillow leads. You have all the different lead platforms. Ours is just another one, and there's no downside, because if it doesn't turn into business for you, there's no.
Oh no,
out-of-pocket.
this is. Believe me, I hear all the horror stories all day long about people and how long it took the agent or to set up an appointment. And like you said, it's a hot market right now. Another offer came in this way.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, and so the other win for the app, which we really don't highlight much on our website or anything, but it's really for sellers as well. And in coaching and talking to other agents, there are 4 things that generally sells a house. Okay, it's location, which you can't change, it just is. Condition, which a seller could choose to, renovate their home. Price, which is a choice that the seller and agent kind of work through to get, and access. And UMZI gives more access to homes. So if you're competing with another like property with the same location, condition, and price, your home is going to have more access, which means more traffic, more demand, more offers, and more money.
It's wonderful.
to
We're going
seller.
to take a break in like 1 minute. Put out your contact info before we go to our halftime break.
Yeah, sure. If you want to check out more about UMZI, visit us on Facebook. Just search UMZI, or you can go check us out online, umzi.com, umzie.com, and it'll be the same link that you can download the app in the future.
Well, this is very cool. So after the break, we've got a barrage of other questions to go over, okay? So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back just shortly. Welcome back to the Happy Hour with Rob Warner. I am Rob Warner with Guild Mortgage, and we're joined again by Jason Lichney and Scott Cooper, founders and creators of UMZI. And this UMZI thing is a great thing, folks. This is going to be, I don't know how to describe it. It's probably the way that Amazon, Uber, and everything have evolved, right?
We hope.
That's the plan.
So this is going to be doing what they do, only for real estate, correct?
That's the hope. I mean, really, it's just trying to change consumer behavior.
Well, really quick, and let me just interrupt, because I think if you look at consumer behavior today with Amazon, Uber, Postmates,
Varsity Tutors,
all of the services and products are going to real time. And we're just looking to bring real-time service providing to real estate. I'm going to make up words.
Providering. Okay, I'll have to write that one down.
Obviously a joke there. But we're just looking at bringing real-time service to the real estate industry.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. So what's the buyer experience like? I know I don't want to beat a dead horse here. How is it different from just calling you're, like if I'm dealing with an agent, calling my agent basically.
Yeah, so I mean, if and we're not saying you shouldn't have an agent, right? If you use the UMSI app, it's just sometimes that doesn't work out, and sometimes it's not going to be a mutually beneficial timeline, or you may not have an agent yet that you're working with. But if how the experiences generally changes is that you can think about it as you can ask an expert that knows about a neighborhood that's located in the neighborhood of a particular property that will answer your questions, that literally won't bother you ever again if you choose to have them not bother you ever again. And I mean, it's just like a quick connection to an expert for that property that has any access
and
to it.
And it will be an expert because they usually live
within
right.
5
I
miles.
know you told me it could be you're having breakfast somewhere, right? And
Sure.
you're out.
You could be.
But
chances
the
are-
person that's going to accept that request while they're having breakfast in Midtown Sacramento when they live in Roseville is probably not likely, right? They're probably out.
They're
doing
probably
something.
living Midtown. They're having breakfast in
Yeah,
Midtown.
and
They
they're
know Midtown really well, and they're an authority.
Or
in
they're
that
just
area.
busy with their family and they're not going to respond to a lead right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to respond to the lead when they're ready to respond to a lead because there's going to be enough of them. So you'll get the person that's ready to work and ready to show the property.
Yeah, and so from a buyer experience perspective, I think the way it differs is, as a buyer, typically you're going to go online, you're going to research properties. Property's going to pop up. Before that, typically before you're going to look at properties, though, you've already researched neighborhoods. You've probably driven them. You looked at schools and the quality of life. And then you want to start looking at properties. And so when properties pop up, typically you're going to want to get in them as soon as you can and when it's convenient for you. People are really busy, especially if you're, two buyers, husband, wife, couple. Now you're trying to coordinate your schedule with a significant other, with a realtor, with potentially children, and that in turn usually results in it taking 4 hours to a day to see a property.
And by then it's sold.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's one of the biggest advantages that I see in this right now is the fact that somebody doesn't have the time and maybe with another agent would have to wait till the following day to see it. But here,
It's
somebody could show
convenience.
them right there and
Convenience
then
and
during
speed.
that lunch break or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Property could pop up at 11 a.m. You could go see it on your lunch hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, it's real cool. So, how will realtors view this? Do we cover this yet? Will they like it or will they hate it?
I don't know. I mean, it's going to give them appointments. From a realtor's perspective, and just sales in general, if people are in the sales force, there's there's a diagram you can see online. It's called like a sales funnel. And it starts with contacts. You get contacts in a database, just whomever. Then as those contacts are looking to do a purchase behavior, in this case buy a home, they become a lead, right? Because I know that this person's going to buy a house. But just because I know that they're going to buy a house doesn't necessarily mean anything to me as a salesperson. I got to get in front of them, right? I have to give them the ability to create rapport with me and buy into who I am and to create a relationship. That's an appointment, right? Appointments will lead to contracts, which for realtors leads to a paycheck, right? And they don't get paid any other way. So essentially what UMSI is doing is it's not delivering a lead like many other lead generation platforms, your Zillows, your Realtor.coms. There's a whole host of them, Redfin, all that stuff. We're delivering appointments, which means you already have the opportunity to meet. Think about it as if you're applying for a job, a lead is like submitting a resume. And an
you
appointment,
don't know if you're going to get a call back.
I don't know if I'm going to get an interview. An appointment's an interview. So, we tell our agents, hey, an appointment's an interview. Bring a resume with you. Bring something of value that you can convey who you are as an agent, because at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to stand in front of a ready, willing, and able buyer and prove yourself.
Make a connection,
and grab them as a client and create a relationship and bring them off of our platform. And get their contact information and start texting them and become their one-on-one agent. But so it's sort of this this process of changing how lead generation is done for agents as well, and not being okay with, hey, here's a phone number and an email address, which a lot of times people put in these websites, they're not even valid.
Oh, I know. I've seen some pretty rank emails that people just do to be, you know.
Yeah,
or
they're
sometimes, who knows,
legal.
maybe some of the lead platforms are putting out fake leads so that they say, hey, we've got X number of leads, because they don't have, they have obligations.
So this really seems like it would work really well to have as many agents in the different communities like Elk Grove, Roseville, whatever, Citrus Heights, on board on this, because that way there's different agents getting different properties to show on a regular basis, right, from their own communities.
Correct. And if you're a buyer and you're looking at a home, and let's say you don't know where you want to live, right, and you don't have an agent yet, and you say, well, I'm going to check out different neighborhoods, and I want to see some homes in Folsom today, and tomorrow I want to go check out homes in Elk Grove, and then the following day I want to go look in West Sac. Well, you'll have potentially 3 different agents that each have local expertise in all 3 of those areas that'll tell you about the schools and the lifestyle and the shopping and things like that, and be able to, so then you have the information to make an educated decision on which area you want to be, and you can circle back with that particular agent that you met on UMSI, or go with a different one. I mean, whatever you end up wanting to do.
Are there going to be other parameters they're going to be able to find out on your app, or are you just sticking to this right now? I know we talked a while back, remember?
I mean, as far as what different,
Like service providers or information?
Like I know at one time and then this may be down the line somewhere, you mentioned something to me about if somebody sees a house and they kind of like that house, but it's not, that there might be other homes that the app would flag that are similar to that home.
it's possible, and technically, I'm not sure how to get there yet, because it may integrate. You may need to integrate MLS data to some extent, or different showing history. And what happens in app development and any new business like this, you kind of start with what is the problem that you're trying to solve, and then once there's a solution, once you kind of create that solution for that problem, what feedback do we get from the buyers and agents out there of cool things that they'd like to see? And how can we move that product in the direction that
they want?
Mm-hmm. Because, you and I, we're in the industry. We think a certain way. And a buyer may think completely differently. So it's important to understand and communicate with the people that are using it and that are our clients.
So
right?
once you have the app all set up, you can always make some upgrades.
Yeah, you just
or
do
changes as you go.
Yeah. And it comes out as an update, just like any other app that you have out there.
So you start off with the foundation program and work from there.
And then you test and get feedback, and as feedback comes in, you respond accordingly.
But the main goal is to keep it really simple. When people open up Google, you don't really need training to figure out how to type something in a search box and hit go.
I don't think so. I think
most people get
know
it.
how to do that.
Right? Most people get it. And Google's a huge company that has lots of money, so they could put all sorts of bells and whistles on that front page.
Ads and information.
All sorts of stuff. And it's a white screen with a text box that says Google on top, right? And that's it.
Yep.
So it's the same thing, just keep it simple throughout the entire lifespan of the product and the company, because at the end, I think that's what people like.
So you loaded this app on my phone as a courtesy to me, but the app itself won't be available to the general public for another,
Probably a week or two.
Oh, that soon?
Nah, it should be available. We're going to test for probably a couple weeks. So before we actually kind of put it out there publicly, we're about 3 weeks out. We want to make sure that we've taken care of, most of the issues, so that it's an app that works well.
So so it's going to start in Roseville?
Yes.
That's going to be your target area?
That's the target area.
And then see how it goes.
It's our backyard, great demographic.
Roseville's actually one of the top markets in the country for millennial home buyers.
And millennials love messaging apps and efficiency.
Know. Trust me on that one.
Right?
As a lender, they don't even want to talk to me on the phone anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter's 22, and I was talking to her recently, and she said that it's been like 3 years since she has called somebody socially. She only messages.
Yeah.
So this is a messaging app that we think they'll really like.
Oh, I think it will. Hey, we've got 1 minute to our next break, so contact info. Put it out there.
Yeah, so check us out online. It's just umzie.com. Also like us on Facebook, just search UMSI, and we're also on Insta. I think it's UMSI Home on Insta, I believe, and LinkedIn too. So there's plenty of links there on our website though for you.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Happy Hour. I'm Rob Warner with Guild Mortgage, joined again by our guests, Jason Lichney and Scott Cooper, founders and creators of UMSI. So we've been talking about this cool app that helps buyers get in front of homes instantly.
Gets access. Yeah, get
Fast.
you inside.
So I had a bunch of questions that I've burned through already, but I know that the two of you probably know have a lot more stuff you'd like to share than I asked. So talk to me.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the limitations of the app right now, because there are two parts to obviously seeing a property: a buyer who wants to see a property and a seller who wants to show a property. And so from a timing standpoint, properties that are vacant or have lockbox and just require notification, those properties literally buyers will be able to see, actually get inside the house in 15 minutes or less.
And as a caveat to that, on our site, which I'll make the link active here shortly, on our blog, as well as we'll post on social media, we have a list of homes in Roseville, which is where we're starting, that will be able to be seen instantly. And that means that those properties are, have a lockbox on them, and the showing instructions are go ahead and go see them. So if there's something in that list that you see that you're interested in, you can just pull the app down, throw the address in there, and somebody should be able to show you that house within a few minutes.
Yeah, I think there were about 100 properties.
Yeah,
on that list.
97.
Say that again, 100 properties that
in
somebody
Roseville.
could get access to now,
Instantly.
Right now.
Meaning that they don't have to have call first because of pets or something like that,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Correct.
The app maybe wouldn't work for that situation, or would it?
It still does. It just changes the timeline. So what happens is, because when you request a showing for a particular house, it creates essentially a chat session with an agent that has access to MLS, and they can see the confidential agent remarks and showing instructions, which tell you, okay, is the home vacant, lockbox, so they can go open it up. Sometimes it says okay to show from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, but call in the evenings or on the weekends. So if that showing request is during those times, they can go show that one too. Sometimes it's call first, lockbox. I just have to call the listing agent really quick and make sure it's cool. And so right then, the person that you get paired with as a buyer is going to be able to check MLS, call that agent if they need to, make sure the showing, and quite possibly get you in within 15 minutes anyway.
So there's a chat session going on, a communication link between you and that agent immediately, right?
Correct.
To where they can pop on their computer or whatever they need to do and contact info, but no phone numbers have been exchanged or anything at this point yet,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, and if you don't want to talk to them anymore, you just hit the delete button on the little chat session, and they're gone.
Yeah, and another cool part from a buyer standpoint, because if I'm a buyer, my concern is, okay, who's this realtor, and how do I know, that they're even a quality realtor? And so there's going to be a couple things that a buyer can do. One, when they pull the app up and they start messaging, the profile of the realtor will come over, and they'll be able to see a picture, information about the realtor. There's also going to be a rating component. So every time a buyer sees a property, they're able to rate that realtor, which in turn creates a quality control component.
Through UMSI, though, that rating
Correct.
system, right?
Yep. And then at some point, we'll look at some other, features that potentially blacklisting and things of that nature, but it gives them at least some information about the realtor, and we're able to quality control because we want both a phenomenal experience from the realtor standpoint, but also from the buyer standpoint. And one way to quality control those realtors is through the rating, because if you fall below a certain rating, then we're gonna probably bump them off the app.
I imagine you're seeking qualified agents, so
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
partner with you.
Correct.
You're not just going out to the masses. You want to make sure.
and we target agents that we know and we can tell that do a fair amount of business already. They work for large real estate firms, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Realty One, all the major companies that you have out there. So it's not like, and some independent brokers and realtors as well. I mean, it's pretty much no different than the marketplace that you would encounter, and so there'll be great agents that'll help support the buyers.
Yeah, and the rating system, just like Yelp, if you use Yelp for restaurants, the rating system helps to filter out great restaurants and those that aren't. So
yeah, that's
a
good plan. You mentioned before, so there's no cost to the agent, no cost to the buyer. I mean, literally, a realtor has no expense, no overhead when they sign up for this.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is when they have the app installed, they literally don't have to do anything either. And what I mean by that is like, okay, I have the app installed on my phone, and I don't have any notifications. But if a lead comes in or an appointment request comes in, it pops up no different than like a text message, right? And if you can reply to it, great. And if you can't, then somebody else is going to get that lead. But it's not like I have to constantly log in and check like a Facebook feed or like check something to see if I got a lead, or check an email even. It's very much, hey, boom, popped up on my phone, click it if I want it. If I don't, the end. And if it launches the app and you have that chat session that comes back and forth, and then when you're done, you just close it down and go on with your day. So there's really nothing to do.
It's a total win-win. The one thing I want to stress again, because this would be important to me, is that once that person replies, nobody else is going to be bugging that person.
Correct. Yeah. For that property.
Huge.
For that
property. Right.
Correct. Yeah. So what happens is kind of a speed thing, right? If Scott hits reply, now he's connected with you as a buyer, and he's the agent in this case. And if I click reply, I get a message that says, "Too bad, so sorry, you're too late." And so same with everyone else, because he was the first one.
Too late, but no phone number or anything, so you can't bug the client later.
No, nothing. It's just a screen. I showed it to you.
I know. I like it. I'm just reiterating it so the audience understands how cool this is, because I'm sure a lot of people are not happy about being, bugged.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. And I have a whole bunch of people on my mailing list, and I get take me off your list. You're a jerk. You're sending me an email all the time, and it's like, I don't know. It was an automated email campaign. There's an unsubscribe link at the bottom.
So this alleviates that for buyers,
correct,
which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then another part of it also that I think is pretty cool is that we're looking at obviously improving the service level from a buyer perspective, and I think it also improves the work quality and efficiency from a realtor standpoint. The other cool part is, unlike Amazon, and I'm a pretty big fan of Amazon as a company, but as Amazon wins, other companies are losing. With our app wins. We're not doing away. We're not going to be canceling out realtor jobs. Realtors are not going to be, losing their jobs. It's a win-win for all parties, and I think that's a really cool thing to be able to bring to the marketplace.
Yeah, and by when he says like Amazon, other companies lose with Amazon wins, it's like the case of most brick and mortar stores. You even have retailers like BB, the women's fashion. They recently closed down, I think, the majority of their brick and mortar shops, and they're just selling through Amazon, and there's a number of other ones that are similar to that. So they're actually affecting brick and mortar, Walmart, Target, all of those types of retailers, and we're not doing that to the real estate industry. We are actually supporting people who are looking for more business, and we need realtors. They're literally our partners, and we will only succeed if they succeed. And so it's important that as we kind of move forward to create that ecosystem and that coaching culture, and to give more value add for real estate agents than they currently have, and to kind of change the dynamic of what a lead platform should be like for them.
Yeah, this really helps out the little guy too. I mean, by the little guy, the guy that just your down to earth realtor that lives in a particular area.
Yeah, that's focused on customer service.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that is the type of person that you want representing you as a buyer.
There you go. Because
right?
I'm always rooting for the little guy, and I don't mean the little guy that the guy doesn't have knowledge. I mean the one that you're talking about.
We want the one that focuses on, like, practicing the profession.
Well, plus from a realtor standpoint, the real estate profession is a tough profession, because on one hand, part of the time, you're a salesperson, you're a sales company, and on the other part, you're a marketing company. And you kind of pop back and forth. In a lot of industries, you have your marketing department and your sales department are two different components.
And customer service, too.
Yeah, with customer service. With real estate, you're having to manage all aspects of that, which in turn can become cumbersome. And so we're looking at, again, creating that partnership, handling more of the marketing standpoint so that the realtors can handle sales and customer service.
That's all they have to do, really. Do what they're supposed to do, right?
Correct.
Serve the client.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
I wish you had something for me on this stuff. This is cool.
Well, maybe later. We haven't talked about lending integration yet, but maybe we'll get there.
What else can you bring up real quick? We got like 2.5 minutes left on the show. Anything else that you feel is really important for the audience to know about?
One of the questions, and I'll kind of thumb through my my questions that we've gotten recently.
While he's doing that, I think we should also talk about people that are interested in becoming part of our beta. From a realtor standpoint, also from a buyer standpoint. One of the benefits of Roseville and obviously this area, there's a lot of tech, and so if there are people out there that want to become part of our beta test because this is interesting to them and they're early adopters of technology, we want to talk to them, and also from a realtor standpoint.
Yeah, and you can go online, umzie.com, umzie.com. My email's on there, or just Jason, JSON, at umzie, umzie.com. Scott at umzie.com. My cell phone is 916-995-7122. Call me if you're interested, either from a real estate agent, broker, or individual buyer perspective. We also have a site out there just targeted at agents, and that's just umzie.com/agent. And it talks about a number of the questions that we've gotten on our little learning sessions with multiple agents and brokers that we've had. So I have videos on a few different subject matter there, as well as a flyer and things like that. So check it out.
Well, I'm really glad you two came on the show today because I happen to think this is a pretty cool idea. So it's we have 1 minute left, but anything else real quick?
So let's just talk about, because you asked about the realtor kind of feedback. And the cool part is, because we've done some in-person meetings and questions and answers and onboarding, and actually every agent that we've talked to and met with have been positive, so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, this is wonderful. Check out UMZI, everybody. This is a cool, innovative thing coming up. Look forward to seeing you next Monday. Stay on 105.5 FM, The Happy Hour with Rob Warner. Take care.
Guild Mortgage Company is an equal housing lender. NMLS 3274. Licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Rob Warner. NMLS 825102. All loans subject to underwriter approval. Terms and conditions may apply. Subject to change without notice.